Okay. Hello and welcome. My name is David MK, he, him pronouns, and this is a practice run of a game I've been working on using the Cortex Prime systems called Space Station Omega. It's my love letter to space station stories like Babylon 5, Deep Space Nine, and this is going to be a practice of some changes I've made to the rule set going into Gen Con Online. And I have a couple great gamers here, Brandon and Sabine. Feel free to introduce yourself as you like. Brandon?
Hi, I'm Brandon. I've been playing with the Gauntlet / Open Hearth for about 3 years now, and this looks like fun.
Sabine?
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I've been around for a while too. Yeah, I signed up because I could make it, and I was like, oh my God, I have to play more stuff. And also, it's with David, who is a cool GM. So, yep, I
Thank
signed
you.
up.
This is one of the few games we've done in together that has not been Star Wars related.
It's true, and I have a Star Wars background.
Oh, cool.
I'm sorry. I'll find a new one, I guess. Break or something.
It's okay, but it's space. Close enough. So, you both have access to the character keeper? Okay. So what I'd like to do is go through and set up sort of the system or sector, the station, the derelict, and our characters. So we might jump around a little bit as things go, but I kind of find setting up the setting helps inform what kind of characters, and then we'll go from there. Oh yeah, safety tools. Thank you so much. So there's a safety tool tab. Please go through there. And in the chat, let me know when you're done and I can call out what we've selected. There's an additional romance option. We're using X card, lines and veils, script change, and it's not listed here, but open door. So if you need to leave for whatever reason, that's fine. If you're able to let me know that you're leaving, great. Just so I know you're okay. So yeah, just let me know when you're both done and we'll go from there.
My internet not browser router seems to be a bit wonky.
Okay.
It sometimes it throws me out. Of the internet, because the things I've had enough of it, I guess. It take a few minutes for me to get that, because
That's okay.
that's the time it takes.
That's okay. We'll roll with it, and that's just the reality that we're in. Okay. So I think Sabine, you said that you're done. Okay. And Brandon. Okay. So here's what I think we have. Is we have ask first on suicide. We have a veil on consensual sex. We have lines on sexual assault, violence, torture, cannibalism. All right, that's good. And then we have on romance for Sabine, ask first, and Brandon, yes to PC GMCs. Okay, and there's a dice roller link there. I don't think we can all see this. I think it's an individual instance. It's my first time using this dice roller. It's based for the Tales of Zadia game. So there might be a couple differences that come up during use of it, but I'm just going to trust you. If you want to roll, physical dice, that's fine too. But this game of Cortex Prime is dice pool based. You roll and you usually keep the top two highest dice. If for some reason you don't have a die, it defaults to d4. And then there's something called an effect die. So kind of roll first to see if you succeed, and then the effect die, which is the third die, not the number you roll, but the size or number of faces, determines sort of the effect or result of significance. So if your effect die is d4, and your effect die is a D10, the D10 has a stronger effect, greater result. So won't worry too much about that until we get going in the individual situations. But I want to kind of get us over to the setting information. And so that would be under the overview tab. And then I'm going to open up the sector name. And so this is kind of our sector in space. So usually if this was a TV show, the sort of wide shots of the station and its relationship to other potential objects in space nearby. If this was being played in person, we would draw it on a hex map, basically. But for expediency for today, we're just going to use these sort of pick lists and use theater of the mind to map things out. So what we have here, we'll come up with a name later. It might just be a generic number-letter combination. But we have some pick lists, so sector features, and they're kind of broken up into these subtopics or questions. So we have the orbit, what planet you're orbiting. We have what it's near, what your station is contending with. Those are the three things in this list. And so what I think would be great is to have one of you do the first pick list. And we'll have Brandon, since he got online first, then Sabine, and then Brandon. And we'll just alternate through here. So what I'd like for you to just pick one or two things. It's fine if you just pick one. This is going to be a short session. So Brandon, you have the space station Omega orbits a planet which is alien and dangerous. All right. And we'll flesh this out potentially during play. And then Sabine, the station's near what two options?
So I've got to pick two. Okay.
Yep.
What is it near to? I think it's near to an asteroid field. And I think, can I choose other, because I have this idea that there is, because we said alien, right? So we're not talking there are only human life forms. So what's other is there is this huge, and I mean huge, it's not moon size, but it's a bit smaller, but it is a life form. It's unclear what it is or what it does. It just lies around and basically seems to eat radiation. It's
That's
just
cool.
Weird. Yeah.
So there's if you want to type into the box next to other, just like a very short, and then if it comes up more during the session, then we'll elaborate.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then after that, we've got, what is the station currently contending with?
I think it has to be contending with Sabine's life form.
Or life form.
It's behaving. No, but I mean, maybe it's emitting, radiation or doing something, that doesn't seem like an intentional thing, but it's still a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Maybe it's emitting other stuff occasionally, like venting gases.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if it eats something, there might be something.
It's going through some life station. Maybe it's going through some life.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh, I like that. I like the idea.
And so it's like we have no idea if it's going to become. It's in plant form, and maybe it's going to turn into an animal form and try to eat the station.
Who knows? Maybe it's in a cocoon and will become an amazing butterfly.
Maybe it will, but we're contending with it. So
we don't know. We don't know.
All right. Do you want to pick another one, or is that enough?
I think we have, maybe we do have some sort of refugees coming here because, or more criminals is a bit much. I would like to have maybe an influx of shady scientists.
That to me sounds kind of like criminals. Put it under the other. Yeah, go for it.
Or refugees would be good too, but yeah.
This is to get our juices going. It doesn't need to be, and sometimes people ignore these things after they make them. It just depends. So the scenario that I'll be running at Gen Con is, what do you do when your station responds to an automatic distress call for a derelict ship that shows up The ship's been missing after 10 years from the war. So it's a ship that shows up. So that's MacGuffin for that. But we're definitely going to have something going on with this creature, it seems like.
Mm.
All right. Maybe the ship is there for the creature. Who knows?
Mhm.
All right. So the next thing that I'm going to be opening up, the next panel is about our station. So Space Station Omega is a generic name, placeholder. We can come up with something better probably. But since Brandon, you sort of did the last category, we'll have Sabine start off on the station features pick list from the first one.
Okay. I'm not muted, I think. Okay. It's uniquely important for its, I think it is, I like the determined location or determined location in space-time.
Mhm.
How would I say that, determined or determined?
Yeah, so determined is fine. Yeah, there is a reason, whether or not it's because the Alliance said so. Someone
Mhm.
has a plan.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Someone has a plan. I
Yeah.
like that. And I should have two, right?
Yep. If you want.
So it's uniquely important for location. And I also think I mean, we have the war in the description of our scenario. So let's say for the role that it played in the war, maybe
Okay.
it's on a cross at some sort of crossroads where people maybe not super important, but was important, very important during the war. At least we have no definition of the war yet, right?
So in the canon, which is flexible, this is our version of this game. The war happened nearly 10 years ago, but there could be a new war, or like you were, I think, saying, this could be something that's coming up again, like an anniversary or some holdover from that that's still relevant.
I mean, it was 10 years ago, the war, so you would
Yeah.
maybe have a celebration of 10 years of
Yeah,
not war.
of peace, right?
Let's call it not war.
Okay. I'm
Well,
just
and
gonna.
also 10 years is not long enough for people to have forgotten.
No.
And for people to feel okay about the outcome of the war if they were on the losing side.
There might be some resentment. There might be some we didn't lose. Yep. All right, Brandon, you got the next category.
Okay. I think. So yeah, I think they have a renewable water food source for sure.
Mhm.
And I'm going to emulate Sabine here and go with other.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say it is an exobiolab because we are orbiting a planet that has dangerous alien life forms. And one of the reasons that, this may have been a strategic location, but it's also, there's kind of a priceless resource down on planet if you are prepared and determined enough to go down there to hunt, to try and trap. These are non-sentient aliens, I'm presuming, for study.
Just to clarify, there is a planet and this huge life form, right? These are not the same things.
No, two different things.
Yep.
Two different things.
Okay.
The huge life form is in orbit around this planet, which is full of smaller alien things.
Yeah. Okay.
And just to clarify, these are separate aliens, right? They're not related.
We don't think they're related.
Okay. At the start of the show, we're not seeing like a big one and a little one the same kind.
Oh, no.
Right.
If they're related, then it's something with multiple forms, or these are immature ones or something. And there's all sorts of theories. And the exobio people are also studying the huge life form to the degree from a distance.
Yeah.
They're sending out probes and stuff to try and orbit it and learn more about it.
Awesome. All right.
I think there are huge arguments of how deep those probes are supposed to go, because I mean, you don't want this.
You don't want to provoke. You don't want to provoke it. Yeah, and if you.
But you're so curious.
All right, Sabine, you got the last category.
I got the last category. I think we shared the other one, so I think we share this one too.
Go for it.
Plagued by. Yeah, like political infighting. It's probably not supply issues, but it's like there are a lot of tension, right, between the different groups of scientists with the exobiologists, who gets to use the lab when. I mean, this is a huge thing. Then we have this planet with the aliens, and then probably there are some preservationists who are not, no, we shouldn't overhunt them. And somebody else says, they multiply like thingies. Come on. And then we have the war that has happened, but not that long ago. I feel there's a lot of tension there.
I think so. So much so that I think I'm going to even put that there are people in the area that are still fighting that last war.
Oh,
wow. There's guerrilla activity or terrorist threats. Maybe they're mostly threats. Maybe they're just things, but security is worried, is paranoid.
So what I think I'm hearing is that we have unsanctioned or unaffiliated, deniable, or just people who just will not accept what happened.
Yeah, it's stateless. It's stateless to some degree. There's not a. I mean, there may be people who are like saying, we're the sector liberation organization kind of thing, but no one recognizes them as legitimate belligerents.
Okay. All right. So we have the derelict, which is the focus of said adventure. So this is some object, some ship, right, from 10 years ago from the war. And it's going to make at least an appearance in the episode. So we're going to start with Brandon here.
I'm going to say lost to a freak solar storm. For sure. It was presumed just blown up. And one of us should have history with it. Absolutely.
Great. And then Sabine?
The derelict carries?
No, the readings.
The readings. One. Oh, yeah. Wow.
So this is from the point of view of the space station perceiving the derelict.
I just can't scroll, that's all.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. Readings. So I think we have undetonated munitions or unstable core. Because
we applaud.
I mean, undetonated munitions, that's not, I mean, they turn up occasionally still in my country. So it's the thing, but not like, oh my God, no, what is this? It's more like, oh no.
Yeah, we found a derelict nuclear submarine.
Yeah, and also we have maybe I like the unusual radiation and energy signature. This is like the science fiction staple of the readings are off, Captain. Whatever shall we do next?
Yeah.
We shall ignore this and forge forward.
Right.
And then when things go south, like, well, that's what these readings meant. Damn. I mean, it's kind of a trope, right?
Right. No, it's great. It's great. It also fits in with the no one could have survived, what this ship went through. So
awesome.
It's turning up as especially strange.
All right. And then do you want to each pick one from the below the derelict carries? These things would be things that we don't know yet or out of character picks.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a secured and locked vault.
And I'm going with someone important from the war.
All right. Amazing. All right. So this last one will, if I did it correctly, will self-populate from the information from the PC data files tab. So it's easy. It's a reference point for me primarily to see at a glance some of the interactions between the PCs. So it's not too important to see right now. The other tabs, like the PC data files, right? The talents tab there is as a reference, because I haven't set it up to autofill. So there, when we make our characters and you choose that, you're just going to copy the name of the talent into the field, because otherwise it's going to push everything down a lot potentially, because talents in Cortex Plus tend to be fairly long in description. That's just the way it is. And locations are going to be things that we indicate are on the station or off station, including planets and so forth. GMCs in Cortex Plus, they call non-player characters game moderator characters. It's fine if you refer to them as NPCs. Roles is what I'd like for us to look at next. So in Space Station Omega, I've hewed close to leverage the Cortex Plus game in that there's kind of a primary role or class that you look at for your character, and then in the stats you choose a primary role and a secondary role that have the two highest die types, and those shape your character's competency. You're going to be competent, and then the remaining roles are going to be of lower die values. So on, for example, on the primary role of the soldier, which is the first one on the far left, you're going to see a description for that, some commonalities for having the soldier as your D10, but there's going to be a small column called secondary roles. This would be like your specialization that complements that. So I'd like for you to look at this, if you don't have an idea already, and think about primary and secondary. And they don't have to be exactly like what's here. This is just to help provide some focus for you as a player. So for example, on soldier, one of the secondary roles would, if you have politician as a D8, would be an officer. So you're used to interacting with others around you. You have that sort of commanding nature to you. And so that's why that would be justified in that way. So I'll give you some time to review those and think about what you think. If you're like, hey, I got this concept, what do you think it might be? I might be able to help you as well.
Investigator. Inventor.
So many good choices.
Yeah.
And our stance is that we're a group tasked with checking this derelict out.
You will be involved with the derelict in some way. It's totally up to you how much you want to engage with it, right? I'm not going to force you to go explore it, like a space dungeon. You can seriously, if you want to be like a researcher and you want to explore science, right, that's cool. If you're like, I want to actually like deal with what you had suggested, like maybe there's an anniversary, so I want to deal with that, or I want to do something else, that's totally fine. So if this was a campaign, right, then we'd have more depth to the options that we've selected. So whatever you want to, but basically you're going to be part of the personnel on this Alliance station. What side you were during the war, we can determine as you make your character. But the war's been over for almost 10 years. Sure, you can work together.
I think working together is a good idea.
Yeah. Do you have are you inclining towards something, Sweet?
I'm inclined towards all of it. That's the problem right now.
Yeah, me too. I've seen like 8 different ones.
Yeah, right.
So talk
right,
about what is your gut reaction, because we're only going to be playing for like 2.5, 2 hours. Yeah. What's your like primary thought?
I think no, they're awesome. Sorry. I think I'm undecided. I think war hero. Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to be a war hero if that's okay with you, Brandon.
It totally is.
I am a, I am a war hero. I am not very sure if
That's great,
this
especially
thing
given
is,
the
yeah.
one of the options you chose for might be on the derelict.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. No. Oh wow. Yeah, that oh, I hope it's not my wife. My ex-wife. My former ex.
No,
Wow.
I might, if you're playing a war hero, I might have played the person who was a prisoner on the derelict.
Oh,
Whoa,
ooh,
yes.
okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been 10 years. Warhead, we have won. I mean, my side has won the war, I guess, because of maybe something I kind of did.
Well, you're a hero, so
Yep.
obviously
Yeah, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. I
Well,
forget. Yeah, yeah, because of
somebody,
something I did.
yeah, you were
I,
considered a hero whether or not you think you're a hero, right?
oh, if somebody comes up and asks me, I totally think that is hero is a complicated title, but yes, I realize that my actions shape the
Yeah.
war in a
Yeah.
significant way. And if I'm talking to myself in the mirror, I'm like, what? How the hell did I end up here? I just muddled through. Why does everybody think I got this shit together?
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Well,
So
X. I have to do a lot of X's. What are the X's for? I think the first profile is my name and then my pronouns. Am I
oh yeah,
right?
yeah, that's just content to put in
Okay.
there. So when it
Okay.
fills out on that form on the first tab, something will show and let me know it's working.
Yeah.
So just change it to your character and your name.
Yeah, you assume that I know my name. Where do I write my descriptor plus profession? I write it down. P something 10, right?
That's hang on, let me pop over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
His background descriptor plus profession. Okay.
So in Cortex games, especially more recent ones, there's something called distinctions. Usually there's 3. I just have 1, and that's called a background. So it includes a descriptor, whether it's an adjective or something like that, plus your profession, and the faction will determine what group you consider yourself to be part of.
Okay. And where do I write this war hero stuff down? Where is that? Where would that go?
So you could put profession as war hero. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
and that's politician D10 and social D8 I put into my things.
Yep. So in this game, I have 2 ways of making character. One is completely from scratch. The other is to choose a template and build from that. And that's kind of what we're doing to speed things up.
Yeah. I'm totally a politician. How did that happen?
Yeah. Yep. And then a D8 for your soldier. There you go.
And I get to give myself 2d6s, right?
Yep. And 1d4.
Yeah,
so
1d4.
In this game of Cortex, I am viewing D4 not as I don't care about it, but more as it complicates my life. So there's some other things we'll get into later, but if you, for example, chose criminal as D4, there's something about criminal that complicates your life. Doesn't mean that you suck at it, right? It just complicates things.
Get our lines for a moment.
Okay.
That's not mine.
No, I think I want it like that, and I don't think I'm that. Yep, knowledge is not what I'm going for.
Secrets complicate your life.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, they do. They do.
So
absolutely
if it's something you just you could take it or leave it, that might be a D6. If you say, yeah, I want this to complicate my life, I would maybe put a D4 in there.
I want this to complicate my life.
Yeah. So you probably don't search out things you shouldn't know.
I know. No, there are more things in heaven. Like, I have enough on my plate right now.
Sure.
right? But of course, there's this derelict, and I think, as much as I hate it, I think I should have a look.
Yeah.
Maybe
Of
Brandon,
course.
your character could convince me to
Oh, yes.
put some pressure on me.
So
Like,
I figured out, I'm going to take the inventor role.
Oh, nice.
So this is adept D10, esotericist D8. Yeah, so I'm an engineer, and just to make it more science fiction-y, I'm a biosynthetic.
Ooh,
nice.
So I'm a created individual.
Very cool.
Wait,
and
what's profile? What does profile say to me? Because there's profile, and then there's name, pronouns, title, call sign.
Yeah. So you mean the column on the far left of your sheet? That is the category. So profile is purely fiction, narration stuff. When we go through and build our dice pool, you're going to choose dice from different categories. If you're familiar with Marvel Heroic, that's how they kind of do it with the character sheets. You say one from here.
Yeah, I've played Avatar, so I have a vague idea of how this goes.
Oh, okay.
A vague idea. I'm not super experienced, but I know that I build a dice pool by drawing in all kinds of stuff that might help in this situation.
So do you have a sense for what kind of war hero as your descriptor?
I think it's what did I do, and why do I doubt that it was a good? I managed to threaten somebody, and it was a total bluff, but the other side believed it. They totally believed me. I couldn't believe again that this worked, but they thought, when I told them, you need to stand down. You don't think I'm the only one here, right? You can send, oh, you don't have our fleet on your sensors. Think about that. And they were so confused and wondering and trying to find the others that, well, I guess I kind of stalled them. And then some others showed up, and they were like, okay, you win. Where's your army again? And I was like, yeah, I'm not telling you until I've never told anyone where our army was. It's not entirely certain that everybody. The story goes that I kind of held off that army on my own for, I don't know, 12 hours, let's say 12 hours. And basically I did that by bluffing, not by being a super soldier or anything, but that kind of gets lost sometimes.
Here's what I'm hearing from you as you retell this war story, is that you're a cunning war hero.
Yeah.
Like Odysseus.
Yes. It kind of gets confused with Leonidas from time to time. Like, I fought them off for 12 hours, but most people know that is not what happened.
Cool. So I just added cunning before your profession, and then once we determine the name of the faction, then we'll just add that in there, and your background will be done.
Cool.
And then let's see what else. Okay, so we've got that.
So what do I need to do?
Yeah. So for your background, for Mercy, you chose what was inventor?
Inventor. So I set the dice, and I did the beliefs, or not the beliefs, but the
So for background, we're going to I'm just typing this. I'm just typing it in. So like,
there, inventor. Oh.
Right here. So like, the background answer would be under that. So whatever description you think would help stand out from another inventor, and then whatever faction we decide that is, you'll add that in there.
Well, I have no idea what White Sun is, but it is too cool a name not to put in.
So that's the faction. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Where did that White Sun come from? Or
Is under relationships.
Yeah, those are just
bottom.
examples to kind of as springboard to say this is
Ah,
a cool thing. There's no context. It's just like here's a name.
mhm.
So if there's something there that says speaks to you, you can potentially use it. If not, that's fine.
I'm still trying to figure out where this came from, location.
Yep.
But you know what? If you are Mercy of the White Sun, I think I was in the other thing, right? The other faction. So I think I'm the cunning war hero of the black hole is kind of obvious. So I think it's the red giant. Yeah, these factions take their names from sun types apparently. Or phenomenae,
All right.
whatever the plural is.
So whenever I run this game, there's always at least a third faction because otherwise it's just keeps going back and forth too much. So there's usually someone kind of as a wedge. So we'll figure that out as we go. It may be the scientists who are here, right? Who kind of drives between the two of you or two of your factions.
Mercy part of the scientists?
Are you?
Oh, I mean, as an inventor.
I'm certainly a scientist. But I'm not. But I'm not an exobiologist. Right. I mean, there's this whole, we have all these, alien life form specialists, whereas I'm basically an engineer who has branched out into physics.
Yep. So the factions should be the larger sort of organizations or entities at odds with each other, holding over from the war. So
I think there ought to be a big criminal faction then.
Sure.
Yeah.
That have been basically the profiteers and things like that.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go look at roles criminal and see if something speaks to us. All right. I'm just going to go with the Star Syndicate.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they're basically trying to make money off of both sides.
Perfect.
And try to make sure that they won no matter who came out. I think my history, given what we said before, is that I was actually the red giant captured me and basically compelled me to work for them.
Ooh.
During the war.
Compelled is such a harsh word. Convinced. Convinced. Right? We were the good ones.
Ooh. So I need to ask.
We've never talked about that.
Let me ask you a clarifying question. Yeah. Are you both human, or is one of you an alien, or both aliens, or?
I'm human, but not
altered human or something.
I'm a synthetic.
Yeah.
I'm a biosynth. So it's human, but I'm, my bones are 3D printed. My, organs are in a much more efficient place because we're constrained by evolutionary biology. I have
3D printed ear. I have,
I have, I have, the periosteum is laced through with synthetic, with, biopolymers, and things like that to make the bone stronger. I was built to be an engineer. I'm one of probably an extraordinarily few that has transcended my original role. Because we were not made to be independent, or to be, to be interested in doing anything other than what we were built for.
So is the White Sun primarily this kind of bioengineered group of people? or are you like a subclass?
So I mean, is the white what's Sabina? Is the White Sun part of the the other side in the war, or is it a scientist caste?
Oh, I like the idea that was actually the kind of the part the neutral.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a science. It's a caste.
Yeah.
It's a caste of scientists.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a guild, that where they treat scientific information not as a public good, but as a commodity, to be bought and sold. And so they they do things like contract out R&D. People contract out R&D to them, things like that. And they so it is. I think it's a rather mercenary scientific organization. But it has, individuals working for it that are of all stripes. The fact that the organization is rapacious doesn't mean that everybody in it is on the make. Most of them are scientists. It's like, I want to do science. I want to discover things, and then I really don't care what happens afterwards.
Let me think about Red Giant. What are we? We are, I think, well, we are, where I think we are about sort of expression and individual kind of like in your private life, do what you want, but otherwise you please do what the state needs, right? So, and the state will support you. That's fine, but you kind of have to support what the state wants. But other than that, behind closed doors and your private life, do what you want, believe in whatever God you like, and worship what you want, and express yourself however you want. But if the state comes knocking and says, hey, you are a person we think would be very well suited to be a soldier, then you go and be a soldier. Thanks, state.
So how does the state make that determination about what role you should fulfill in society?
This has been going on a while. So like you go to school, state school, of course, everybody goes to state school, and state university, and that then they will discover what you're good at, what you kind of excel in. So it's not like you get told you need to be this soldier thing now because you are not very great at academics. It's more like, yeah, look, you're not that great at academics. Maybe look at being a soldier, or you could go and be a miner. You might have options, but they are a bit limited. If your academic grades aren't good, you won't go and be a doctor. Einstein would have flopped it, but
So it sounds like there's a monitoring system of some kind, and there's also social peer pressure of some kind.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's yeah. The state is kind of mostly benevolent, but not always. They try, but the state is made of people. So, and these people that have power, they want their own stuff, right? But they also think that the ideal is it's kind of a village of 10 trillion people. Everybody loves each other and helps each other, but they don't. One of the things is that they usually let people be who they want to be in their private life. If you're gay, that's fine. If you're trans, that's fine. But if you'll still be a soldier. That doesn't matter, because you can be a soldier whatever you do behind closed doors, and however you like your music stuff.
So I think this is great because of societies that I've studied myself about, those that have a strong private and a public life. There's a lot of interesting sort of tension in those lives. So I think this can be interesting when we look at the beliefs, which are those sort of fill-in statements. And you can these are the sort of default starter phrasings. If there's something that you think would be reworded better to reflect your character's feeling towards or the intent of that value. So duty, power, glory,
Mhm.
justice, truth, love. Feel free to change it.
Mhm. And can you give me an example of how one of these things would be phrased?
Yeah. So I'm gonna
I'm trying.
look over it.
I'm trying a few, but I
Yeah.
don't know if mine are good
So
answers.
yeah. So for example, if you say like freedom is most important because I value independent, right? For
Mhm.
love, like I love
Mhm.
freedom, and
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
right. You could still have
Okay.
that at a D4. It's just very complicated.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think Brandon, I think you're doing a good job of keeping these beliefs kind of broad to give you that room within specific scenes to justify it or to question it.
Okay. If my interests are
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah.
productive,
Yeah.
then that'll
If
just keep
if
us.
it's too precise, then I may ask you to edit it to be a little bit broader so it's more you can use it more often.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Yeah, you're doing great, Sabine. Okay.
a very complicated relationship with the truth.
Good. Good. So just very briefly, specialties. You would have one with your primary and one with your secondary roles. They just give you a d6 and they kind of help focus in or distinguish you from other characters with a similar die type. So, and you can look at those archetype roles for inspiration, or if you want to wait, you can define it during play. So the soldier one, often I've seen like piloting or firearms or something like that, but it can be something else too.
But I could say my specialty is actually bluffing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, and these don't have to just play under that role, so you could potentially use the specialty with another role. It's just this is what naturally fits with it. Let me finish this one. There we go. Okay. All right. So we have talents below, and Brandon's already chosen his. And sometimes it takes a little bit to like, it kind of feels like a crap shot, like in a one shot to choose the right talents because you never know if it's going to come up. But in Cortex Prime games, they're similar to like stunts in Fate or moves in Apocalypse World games. They allow you to kind of change the rules or break the rules in Cortex games. Sometimes they're location based or people based or object based, but they provide some more differentiation opportunities. Goals we might get to. It's not a really important thing for one shot. The goal may simply be I want to investigate that thing in space, right? Keep it simple. What I'd like for us to focus on are the relationships, because this is a drama game in space. You're going to start with a relationship with some sort of object, that we see with your character fairly often. It's like associated with you. Then we're going to have a complicated or beneficial relationship. So given that we only have 2 PCs in this episode, normally who's ever to the right or the left of you always gets a complicated or beneficial, depending. But I'll just let you choose today if you want to have a complicated or a beneficial relationship with the other player character. And you can discuss how you think that might play out.
Sorry, I'm still stuck at the talents.
No, that's okay. Talents, it's a lot to read through.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it short.
Sure.
Oh, can I take a criminal talent if I want to?
I think for your third, go ahead. But make sure you have a primary and a secondary at least from what you've chosen. So politician and soldier. Yeah.
Because there seems legend to me that might be helpful.
Yeah.
High stakes ion, maybe not. No, it's not quite the thing. I know someone that's also very good. These are all very good. Tactical solution. Combat ready. No, not combat ready. A tactical solution might actually be good. Line of fire. Oh, come on. Red alert. The larger picture. Sorry. Ah. Yeah, but that makes use of my truth value, and that is not great. Okay, I'm taking this one. Okay, I got 3.
All right. Yep. So the beneficial asset you can come up with whenever you have an idea for one. But I'd like for
Beneficial.
you, yeah, I'd
Okay,
like
yeah.
for you to choose for the relationships. For
Mhm.
if mercy is a complicated relationship or a beneficial one.
Both.
Just one. Choose one.
Um,
At the beginning of the game, over
as
time,
a
you could potentially change that relationship.
as a politician, I might explain to you because I am actually, if you don't know if you've probably heard of me. I'm Captain Solter. I can have a complicated and beneficial. I have complicated and beneficial relationships to most people.
Of right, but in general,
Brandon, what do you think? Do we have a complicated or a beneficial relationship, or does one of us think it's complicated and the other thinks it's beneficial?
so
I like complicated, which doesn't mean it's not a good relationship. It just means
correct.
it's a source of drama.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you.
It doesn't mean it's not a strong or long lasting,
Right.
reciprocal relationship.
Right.
It just means we find reasons to either, well, I mean, not even that necessarily that we find reasons to spark things off each other, but it might be that because of this relationship, it creates drama for somebody else. In other words, some outside
Yep.
entity, for example, doesn't approve.
Yep.
That's a classic example of a complicated relationship, even if
Exactly.
the relationship between the characters is good.
Right. Beneficial in the context of this game, how I see it is you get something from that relationship,
Mhm.
whether you feel good or you get a resource, however you justify that in the game. Relationships are often asymmetrical.
Oh, Brenda, I think you should have a D8 somewhere. Oh, you're not finished with your values, I guess.
Oh, what do I need? What did I do?
Your values, you have a D6 and a D10, but you have,
Oh, I don't have a D8, right?
Yeah, you only
and
need
you
one
only need
D4.
one D4.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but I
and the
need,
rest are D6s. Oh, okay.
yes.
Can't all
Three.
be, they can't all be terrible.
Not at start of
Benef-
play.
So and the
beneficial.
D4 is the one that gives you trouble, right? So I'm going to leave that.
Yes.
I'm going to have that as power.
Good.
I think that's the one that gets me in trouble
Good.
because it's my knowledge gives me the authority to challenge power structures. It's like that is the classic bad idea.
Yep.
I'll put a D8 in love.
There you go.
There.
My beneficial outfit could that be something like my very flashy kind of hat that I wear?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
yeah,
exactly
be.
regulation, but actually it's not
this
to
is
the detriment of the public, and it's kind
Well,
of my trademark, right?
the asset's often something that gives you like narrative permission to do
Yeah.
things. Like, that you have, some of the assets are like,
Right.
that you have a shuttle, or, you have your own private shuttle or something like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
this,
but
would-
if
I would see
yeah.
this as being, if I were to restrict it to say like physical, mental, social, like this would be a strong social asset
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind for
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
That I can touch the rim of my head and
Mhm.
wave it around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To distract people.
Or-
I like the hat.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Go for
Oh
it.
no, I need to find a picture. Let me find a picture
Oh,
first.
Well, hang on before we go looking at images. And I think we're going to I'm going to introduce you to the last couple things on here.
Oh.
We're not going to spend a lot of time right now, given that it's already, we're already over an hour in. Is similarly, when we define the station in person, I usually have us draw the station and designate areas and whatnot on it. There would be locations. So these are places on the station or near the station and we would choose one that's beneficial and one that's complicated. So a common one that gets chosen is complicated, usually by a soldier-y character, is like a memorial site. But there's usually like a garden, there's usually quarters, there's usually like command and control, there might be like a bar. Very common tropey type locations, just depending on what you're looking for. So on locations tab, there's some left in here from a prior game. If there's something that you like, you can go ahead and choose that right now. Otherwise, during the game, as things come up, you can designate a complicated or beneficial location. I'm not too worried about it right now.
Okay.
All right. And then let's see if there's anything else. No, I think that covers things. Yeah, I think that's the main stats. We'll cover mechanics as we go through it. But you're mostly done. And I'm going to see if that information is working. Yeah, I'm seeing your information. Good. All right. Are there any questions from either of you?
So, working on the picture, you know.
Sure.
Okay, Doctor Strange might not be the right, or maybe, you know, maybe not that weird. Oh, there's a teddy bear. No. And I will say my special thingy here is my flashy, it's a flashy armor actually. It looks flashy, it has flashing diodes, but it's mainly, it's for someone who knows things, it looks impressive, but it's mainly for show. It's not very good. It's more of a stormtrooper armor, what I have, but it really looks good. Like, it looks like it can intimidate people with it. Because I think the Red Giant, they don't have very, they use uniforms, but they're mostly in badges and stuff like that. And otherwise people can feel free to wear whatever they like, because we're all on the same spaceships. So you would assume that people know each other. And also, you know what, if you have uniforms and helmets that all look the same, it's really easy to get infiltrated. So yeah, I have a flashy armor.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's also just a big reminder of the war kind of thing. And so, you know, so. Are you putting in a picture?
Yeah, I'm looking for a picture.
Okay. I'm going to use one.
I'm not yet there where I want to be. Ooh. I like that one. Oh. I'll go with this one.
I think that's the right one for
Yeah.
this character.
Yep.
You like that, Dave?
Let me see. Sorry, I was thinking about NPCs. Let me take a look at what you got.
There you go.
Holy crap.
Well, yeah.
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 That's impressive.
Right?
Personality takes no shit. Oh, so we have smoking, so there you go.
Yeah, we have, it's like smoking. Yes, I'm a biosynthetic that smokes.
Okay.
It's complicated.
These
It's complicated.
these things won't kill you.
They actually won't kill me.
No,
They'll kill you, or
I
anybody
know.
else.
I know.
But I have better metabolism than
Yeah,
I
sure you do.
have better lung filters than regular people do.
Hmm.
I am fine with, by the way, David,
Oh,
and Sabine, just to
I
let you
think
know, I'm fine if there is prejudice against synthetics.
okay.
Okay. You know, if people treat us as you know, second class because we're different.
it's different.
Because I think that's
First,
where part of where Takes No Shit came from.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, screw you and the horse you rode in on. You know, if you don't want my services, then just say that.
Okay. I have put on the GMC page the admiral who's in charge of the station for the Alliance, just so we have somebody there. All right. Okay. And I think what I'd like to do is to take a break, and then we can start up on the game session. So, what about 20 after? Does that work?
should be fun.
Okay, we'll be back
Cool.
in a few minutes.
Cool. See you.
All right. Everyone ready?
Ready?
Okay, great. So, opening shot, we see the space sector. We zoom around the alien planet. We see the station over there. And then we kind of glance off this creature, this thing that's eating radiation. What does it kind of look like?
Like a turtle kraken?
A what?
A turtle kraken?
It's like turtle squid, or what do you?
Maybe. It has tentacles. There are
It is
things that might be tentacles, or
right.
like you know the jellyfish, these
Yeah.
thingies that
Yes.
they have. Whatever fronds,
Yep.
filaments, what are they called?
Yes, absolutely. As it has tentacles. It kind of looks like a giant gastropod,
Yep.
and but although people have argued that it's more analogous to like flower, stamens and things like that. Because there's a big argument as to whether it's an animal or a plant or something that's not classifiable.
Yep, that's right. Could also be a mushroom, which is
Yeah, it could be a fungus, it could be a giant fungus. It's
yeah,
clear
because
it's clear that it subsists on radiation primarily and the occasional bit of asteroid debris that it engulfs.
yep.
So so
Yeah.
kind of zoom back, like almost backwards towards the station. I feel like we end up on this sort of observation deck where we see and hear a variety of scientists arguing over the nature of this thing and how they're trying to get clearance to go out and investigate it. And then we kind of pan back and we see, and it zips down a corridor into command and control bridge where indications, sensors, alarms are going off. And to say like a jump point opens up and out pops, zips out this ship, right? And so the ship that I'm just using as default is the one on the overview page of this vessel that comes out, and readings coming in indicating that this was a ship from which faction did we say?
From ours, I think Red Giant.
Okay, the Red Giant, the ship that's been missing for about 10 years, comes out. And of course, they'd like, alert the Admiral that this thing is here. And so, what we know right now is that the information is saying this thing was supposedly lost to. Oh, a different picture is fine too. This thing is supposedly lost to a freak solar storm, and there's this sort of information going on as they scramble to get more. And so, of course, the audience would be aware that the Admiral would be deciding what to do next officially. Where's your other picture, Sabine?
She put it in her thing.
Okay.
It looks a little different. It's less Middle Eastern and more like South American native.
Okay. Let me see.
So the picture of this derelict is like on all the vids, right? Because the news, the station news is going nuts with it.
Yeah. And of course they can't keep like the media from covering this completely, even though they like to kind of lock it down. So some of these images are getting out.
It's huge and it's in space.
Exactly.
They can't hold their hand in front. They can't put their hand in front of it and say, "You're not allowed. You can't look in this direction."
Exactly.
Let's give it a name, Sabine, because I recognize it.
Yep. The what is the name? I think it's something with a flower.
Well, it could have different names. Like, could have the official name, but it could be the opposing side may have given it a different name too.
But it should have an official. It should have an official.
Oh, the official name is Imposing Silence.
There we go.
Imposing Silence.
Yeah.
You hear me? You see me in the lab looking up at the vid distractedly, as somebody said, and I go, "Fuck, that's the silence." And somebody goes, "The silence? What do you mean, the silence?" And I say, "Never mind. Get back to work."
Yeah, I think I'm I'm actually on some kind of official post and I'm talking to some other people when this comes in, and you can see the kind of the widening of the eyes, like, oh my gosh. But to the others, I say, I'm sure this is nothing to worry about. I will go presently and investigate what this is. Feel free to have another glass of cornflower wine, and yeah, it's actually imported from the colonies. I'll get back to you as soon as I know more. And I smile at them, and I think the viewer can see that this is a totally fake smile, but the other two guys can't.
Right.
And then I go and the smile drops, and you see the stare, and just this one name, Elena. Elena. Damn it, Elena.
And your comm beeps with the message I put in there.
And then it's, damn it, Mercy.
It's a lot of damn it's going on around.
Yeah, well, I only curse when there's nobody in the
oh yeah, your private thoughts and your public thoughts.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So are you rushing to the Admiral? Are you the two of you going to be communicating or meeting or what? I wasn't sure like how formal or informal your relationship was yet.
I think I will message you back a lot of emojis that basically say the same thing that what you messaged me, Marcy. But I will go to the Admiral too. I need to go. I need to get in front of this. I need to get there. I need to see if my ex-wife is on there and has left something on there. And I'm pretty sure that Mercy will want to be there too. So I need to get to the front of this before the Admiral sends out anybody else.
Yeah. So the scene where I'm shouting at a security person, I have clearance, let me the fuck in.
So are you going to the Admiral's office as well?
I am, because I got an invite from Captain Soder, which lets me barge in there.
Awesome.
Still in my they're not grease stained exactly, but they're sort of high-tech lab equivalent.
Sure.
My
science
my work. Well, no, it's my work coverall. I've been tinkering with with something, so I'll barge in.
Okay, so I feel like the Admiral, if the Admiral harbors any issues towards the opposing side, they don't display it. So I feel that Soder is probably closer and gets in first, and then Mercy shows up. So there's the formal like salute sort of, greeting sort of thing.
Oh, I have to rename my ex-wife. She shouldn't have the first name as the Admiral. That would be very confusing.
Sorry, Admiral, I didn't mean you.
Honey buns. Yeah. So Veracruz addresses you and has their assistant leave the room for the moment. And then of course we have the barging in. And I think what you would, especially like the captain, I don't know if Mercy would realize this right away, but the obvious response to this would be to send the political people to meet with the Admiral. So the political representative for the other side would be on their way. So
sure.
The other side in the war was the Star Alliance, right? Okay. Yeah, I need to get there before the Star Alliance gets there.
Yeah.
The Star Alliance are the criminals, are the entrepreneurs.
Their representative will also be on the way, and each one of those two GMCs would be like, who's going to get there first?
Yeah, I mean, well, the other side lost the war, right? So they don't really have enough. Do they have an official? I guess they have an ambassador, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're represented.
It wasn't an exterminating war.
No.
Okay.
No.
But it's like,
So you've got like 5 minutes with the admiral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will run in there. I think I might be in there in Head of Mercy because I have the rank to
Yep.
just push through everything, and I will go in and say, how I think I'm on first name basis with the admiral because and I say, Alina, I need to get to the ship.
I see the ship is here.
Yes, the imposing silence is here.
Yes.
I had some personal relationship with this ship, and I would prefer to be the first one inside, and not the Star Alliance people who probably will claim some things that will allow them to go. But Alina, please, I need to be the first one.
Okay. So here's what I'm if this was a longer term game, you might, or someone might, spend some points or some advancement into a relationship with the admiral.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
in
right.
Cortex Prime, if you spend a plot point, everyone starts with 1 plot point. If you spend a plot point, you get an immediate, or you can get a D6 relationship or create an asset off the fly. And it's just for that scene. If you spend a second plot point, then you get it for the rest of the session. So what I think might be interesting is to set a roll instead of spending a plot point. So I'm going to put 2 dice into my roller here and give you the result, and you can decide if you want to have a favorable connection to beat that with a roll. Does that make sense? So you'd be creating an asset with the character. All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm
but I would just
Mhm.
to clarify this, you roll something and I need to beat that, right?
It's just
I
it's just called a test.
Yeah,
And then,
if I don't create the asset, I can still roll, right?
yeah.
Okay,
So I'm just
but I wouldn't have the D6 for
right.
the asset.
If you just want to spend your 1 plot point and have a D6 relationship, that's totally fine. Do you want to do that, or do you want to wait?
I want to wait, and I would
Okay.
like to see what my roll is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in response, and if I think, oh, I mean, and what your roll is like.
Yep. So I'm going to be rolling a D10 and a D6.
Okay.
I'm going to roll that, and we'll see what we get. And okay, I roll. So in Prime, Cortex Prime, if I roll a 1, the GM rolls a 1, you could spend a plot point and get, it's called an opportunity, and then you get some sort of benefit. So I rolled a 9 and a 1. So
wow.
You don't have to spend it, but if you do, then you get some kind of good thing out of the result.
Yeah, but beating the 9. I mean, to beat the 9 with my. Do I need to have a 9 on one of my dice?
You need to actually exceed the target number, so a 10 or higher. And here's, I'm going to walk you through that. So this will be the first roll for the game.
Okay.
So we start at the top of your character sheet, and we start with your core, which is your background. Right? Okay. So in every roll you're going to make in this system of Star Space Station Omega, you would include your background as either beneficial or hindered. Beneficial means at a D8. Hindered means you would roll it at a D4 and get a plot point added to your total plot points.
Okay, but I feel right now that my core might be beneficial.
Yep.
Right?
Okay. And then what we do next is we go down to the next level. So we have values and roles. So is there a role that makes sense in your relationship here with this person?
I think politician probably.
Okay. So you're starting your dice pool with a D8 and a D10.
Yep.
Is there, which value do you think is appropriate in this situation based off of either your beliefs or just as a gut check?
I think love, because I mean, it's complicated, but it's also like,
So on your sheet, love is a D6.
Yeah.
Okay. So you now have a D6, and let's see, you don't have a relationship with this person already. No. None of your talents are going to apply in this. So what I see you having is you have a D10,
a D6 and a D8.
D8, and you just roll those 3 dice. Tell me what the top 2 highest die are.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Yep. And if you have any ones or not.
And there is a 1, and I could look, and now it's gone. Okay. There is a 4 and a 6, so it's a 10, but there is a 1.
Okay. So if I buy that from you as the GM, you get a plot point, and then I get to create a complication or step up a stress or something like that.
But so I make the roll because I rolled a 10.
You do. So what I'm going to say from that is you have a favorable relationship with the Admiral.
Cool.
A complication, I think, is going to be from this is that the Admiral is thinking about the political ramifications of seeing too favorable to your faction that you both share. So there's a little bit of political. And that, what die type was that came up as a 1?
That was the
yes, the D6, the D10, the D8?
It's the D10, actually.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be a D10 complication of political favoritism.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to say is that currently the Admiral is torn between their connection with you and with appearing to be too favorable. So here's an opportunity, narratively speaking, for Mercy to kind of manipulate the situation.
Cool.
So yeah. So after you hear the shot, after you hear kind of a shout from the outside, let me in, you jumped up receptionist. I finally get at the door, finally slides back, and Mercy comes in. She goes, Admiral, Captain.
Mercy.
That's the silence. You knew that already. I was on board that ship. I got away just before the flare, and there's no way that ship should exist as anything but space junk orbiting, Taurus 5.
We're sending beacons and communications over to confirm who or whatever it is.
There's no other that it's the silence is unique on its class. Look at the engine configuration. The other ones with that airframe did not have engines positioned. So unless you're telling me that somebody took an old battleship, an old dreadnought airframe and moved the engines around to make it look like the silence, then that's the silence. And you don't need to confirm that. You just need to figure out what you're going to do and how the heck it should be here. You need to send over someone to actually look at it, not just sniff around the tailpipe.
Do you have someone in mind?
Me.
I'd accompany Mercy.
What?
As an honor guard. What?
Is the Admiral aware of your history with this ship?
I don't know.
What do you think?
So
you just told her that you were there, so
yeah.
But as a prisoner or anything else?
I'm gonna say that yes, because I was a refugee when I first came.
Okay.
And so she would have, I've been noisy enough that she probably pulled my file at some point. I probably got into trouble. Over disputing the ownership of some piece of machinery or something like that, that I had done a work for hire and that the other person claimed they didn't owe me.
I'm going to say that the Admiral says, I need time to consider your request. Now, if you want to push with some other, do a social attack effectively to really push for it, I'm totally open to that. But the Admiral is considering that your emotions might be interfering with the sound judgment of this.
Do you want to make a roll?
Yeah, I do. Look, Admiral, if that's the silence and then it got here under its own power somehow.
Right.
Which means it may still have active weapon systems. And if it does, this station does not have anything that can fight off a dreadnought.
I love that. So you're putting the fear into this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that is an incredibly, this is a time bomb sitting in your space until you find out what's actually happening. I take it you've had no communications from it.
Not yet.
Okay. We don't want the first communication from them being, surrender or be blown to atoms, right? I'm guessing that I say
that is correct.
With all the snark I can muster.
Yeah, she just keeps. I think, given what you established, I'm just going to start. Her relationship with you is complicated.
Yes.
So I'm rolling a d6, a d4, and a d8 to give you a target to go for. Cool. All right. So let's see what we got here. Okay, I have looks like a 13 with a d4 effect die.
Okay.
13 with it's a lot. It's a heavy lift.
So I think what she's countering with is saying that it's not that she's not going to look into it. That's a given. But that she's coming up with reasons why maybe you should not be in the first shuttle over there, given your history with that craft, if it is what it is. And she's fine with you looking at reports.
Look, Admiral.
I think you should roll instead
I am going to roll.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to define what I'm rolling
yep.
by this next statement. It's like, Admiral, you need someone who can actually tell what's going on, one, and who is not going to lie to you.
Hey.
No, I'm just saying, you want to know what's actually happening rather than, what somebody wants to tell you or what they think you want to hear or anything like that. I'm guessing. So I'm angling to roll truth. Because if I don't have some D10s in there, I'm not going to make this roll.
No.
And I'm the best engineer here.
So let me ask: is Captain Soder helping, and if so, what does that look like?
After that one, I don't know. I'm helping.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
What I'm going to say, what Halo is going to say, he can keep a straight face and says, well, if you are worried that my report might be tainted by my allegiance, having Mercy there might be beneficial to you. Because I surely can't talk Mercy into stealing the truth, which is probably not what I believe, but yeah, I'm going to help.
Okay.
Of course I am.
So which value are you thinking?
Bluffing.
No. Okay.
Oh, value.
So,
my value.
No,
okay.
Yeah, you could offer a specialty or a value that you're justifying this with.
I think what I would offer is the bluffing, actually.
Okay. So what that means, Brandon, you're going to add a D6 to your die pool.
So you have 2 D10s and a D8. I think your background would right now, or do you want your background to complicate
you're always going to roll. Yeah, it's just whether it's beneficial or complicated. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to be complicated, get an extra plot point if you wanted to.
But you only would roll a D4.
Yeah, for your background.
In this case, I think it makes sense to roll it straight. So let's see what we get. It makes fancy dice sounds.
I know. I know. I'm like, I don't need that.
Okay, I only got a 12.
Okay, so you did not.
So
You
unless
did
I'm
not
allowed
do
to blow a pop point to pump
You
it.
can add by spending plot point, add another die that's not a one
Okay,
into your total.
I did get a 1, by the way.
Okay.
And I
You,
will.
you should have had 4 dice, right?
I had 5 dice actually.
Oh,
Well,
Because you gave me a die, right?
Yep.
yeah.
So you had your background plus a value plus a roll.
Did I roll too many dice? Did I just have
What?
the 3?
So
Or
you're
did I get
always
a 4?
gonna have 3 dice. Your background, a D8 or D4,
Okay.
one of your values, one of your rolls. If a specialty applied to this, you could roll that in there, or if there's a relationship.
Okay. So I think I just rolled the wrong die size
That's okay.
for one of these.
I mean, I could see you justifying analysis or engineer potentially.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just trying to figure out these die shapes. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna use a plot point to bump my to bump my total to a 15.
Okay.
And the effect die I have is a 10.
Okay. So okay, so what did you build your total out of?
I built my total out of a 10, an 8, and a 6.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So you convinced the admiral that you should go on this shuttle over there, and she basically says to the two of you which shuttle, what bay that is, and to get going, because all of you know that the representatives are going to be here, and they're going to be arguing their case as well.
You're offering me a complication.
I am purchasing that plot point from you. Yep. Okay. And I think the complication for this is going to be, actually, I think it's going to be, I feel like you won, so I'm not going to give you a condition. I feel like it's going to be, what's the call? Like, like a countdown timer. Like, I feel like someone is going to pull rank on you at some point. Like, if that exceeds a D12, someone's going to say, get him off here. Someone else should be on this mission. So what die type was that?
Which die was it that was a 1?
Yep.
It was an 8.
Okay, so D8. Okay, so we've got 2 complications on the table, one for favoritism, one for this counter, and then we'll proceed. So we're going to cut to you, like, I'm not even going to have you, like, unless you want to spend time on the shuttle, I'm just going to say you show up on the ship.
I would actually ask Mercy while we're on there if she remembers my ex-wife, Cora. She was scientist, like you, like yourself, and yeah, I think I thought she was dead, and yeah, made my peace with that. But
you mean on the Silence?
Yeah, on the Silence. She was on the Silence. She was, I think, chief. I can't.
I remember her. So,
okay.
So for Sabine, what kind of person was she?
I think she was very focused on the whole science thing.
Okay.
And she was ambitious. Yeah, ambitious. I like her to be focused and ambitious, but she had a really wicked sense of humor.
She was one of the few people who treated me like a human being. Like maybe the only person who treated me like a human being. And I think that was probably just because I was useful to her, but still everybody else treated me like, well, captured property, if you want to be honest about it.
Yeah, it's weird. In the final days of our marriage, she treated me like furniture.
Yeah, well, I don't.
I mean, a
You-
nice piece of furniture for sure. Piece of furniture she liked, but still.
She was one of the few who actually called me by a name.
Oh.
You know, the rest of it was like you or hey robot.
You're not a robot.
I'm not a robot. It's a pejorative. It's
I know, but you're not. It's the wrong pejorative. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Well, it's a if it's you want to if you want to call somebody like me a bullshit thing, that's one of the
I do not want to call you
one of the
bullshitting.
one of the
I
20 or 30 ways you can also freak.
Mercy, Mercy, I'm
mutant.
sorry. I apologize. Okay, I apologize if I've caused offense,
No,
Mercy.
you've never said
Sorry.
it. You'd have nothing to apologize for. I'm just telling you, it's the real thing. And I got a lot of that on the silence. As I said, in the few people who actually spoke to me, you would have thought I was fucking radioactive.
Hmm. Yeah, I know Cora wasn't happy on that ship either. So.
But I was interested in her problems, and I guess that made a big difference.
She talked about her problems with you. Now
I mean,
feel
not
like
not her personal problems. I mean, the scientific,
okay,
her
okay,
work.
yeah. Yeah, okay,
I
okay.
thought the
I
work
get
she
it.
was doing was really interesting.
If I had understood it, I would
You
have
know,
thought so too.
if you had been in my situation, you would have done the same. You would have latched on to anybody who treated you with the slightest shred of humanity, honestly.
Okay, hey,
It was,
Mercy.
yeah,
I'm
what?
s- I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am.
It was war, you know? We were fucking unlucky, just caught out in the open by a Corvette and grabbed up like we were the fish caught in the net. And it was, just right at the beginning of the war. And what are you going to do? And so, bang, one time I'm, working transit as an engineer of this little vessel. And the second thing, I'm a prisoner. And they basically say, well, you can rot here in this cell, or you can work, and so I picked working.
Mm.
Not a few people on our side felt that it was treason,
Mm.
but they didn't like me anyway.
You know the ship well, though, right? You've been
Like
around.
like the back of my fucking hand, except for the secure areas. And
Oh, yeah.
I was, as soon as they found out what I could do, I was all over those engines.
Mm.
Because I tell you, maintaining the engines on a dreadnought class is an unending task.
I think it's the same for every ship. I mean,
but especially those things, because they're so high performance, so they're fucking temperamental.
Mercy, I captained one of these things, right? Remember?
Yeah, no, you know what it is. I didn't know you did you were a captain of a dreadnought class?
Yeah, briefly, and then they demoted me to being the captain of this little what did they call the Union class thingy?
The Union class ones are better. They're a better designed ship.
They are.
The dreadnought's pretty much only good for planetary bombardment because it's just too fucking slow.
Yeah, I was not mad that they demoted me. It's not like I angled for it. It's not like I wanted to be deeply a Union captain, but I liked the ship I was captaining. That was a good ship.
They're better. They're just better. They're more efficient. They're faster. They can stay out longer without refueling.
Yep.
It's
they can create shadows, which is really nice. Oh, and we're here. Look at that. Sorry. I want to see that.
So your shuttle docks with the ship with the silence.
I pop my my uplink with the shuttle's sensors, which I've been plugged in the entire trip.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm relying on Mercy to do the tech stuff.
Oh, okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you do a quick sensor analysis roll. So I'm going to roll the difficulty for that just to see if anything's changed since we started. All right, so let's clear that off. Okay, so let's see. We've got that. I'm going to add the complication of that counter to this roll. That was a D8, right? Okay, just to see if that makes an impact. Let's roll this. 3 dice. Okay, my top roll was a 7 with a D8 effect die.
Okay.
What does that
And
mean?
So basically, I'm setting the difficulty to see. It's kind of like I'm going to give you something no matter what. So even if
Okay,
you
yeah.
miss this, you're going to get
Oh, okay.
different information than what we set up at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Okay. What does the effect die means though?
So the effect die is like how potent is the
Oh, okay.
information in this
Oh,
case?
nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah. So
Okay.
yep.
Yep,
So
I think I got it. That
Yeah.
was the question.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go roll.
So
Please.
okay, Brandon.
All right. So talents just let you have narrative permission, right? In Vortex Prime?
Depending on the talent, it'll tell you how does that shape the gameplay depending on that talent.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
In this case, so okay, I've got my background D8. I have truth as a D10, and I have, I guess, esotericist as a D8, and I have analysis.
Mhm.
So as a D6. So I have 4 dice.
Yep.
Nice roll. I'm glad it summarizes them because otherwise I couldn't read it.
Yep.
And I got a 1.
Okay.
But I got a 9 with a D10 effect.
Nice.
Okay. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do, because I did roll that complication in there, I think I'm going to, what die type was the one again?
The die type was this time was a D8 again.
Okay. I'm going to buy that, which is going to elevate that complication up to a D10. And in Cortex games, if anything goes past a D12, that usually triggers something. So in this case, for this complication, it means that someone is going to contact or make some drastic decision to say, hey, come back, you're not the right person.
Okay.
Okay.
So they are contacting us and saying, come back.
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah,
okay.
it's gonna.
No, I feel that somebody's looking over my shoulder.
Exactly. So this
Yeah.
would be the effect of a clock, even though
I see.
clocks
Okay.
are not technically a mechanic in this game. There are timed results, and that's kind of what I'm going after here.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, I got a regular success.
So you succeeded, and I'm going to look and see what we stated, what the sensors picked up initially. And someone is important, secure, locked, hold. Okay, so I think what we're going to get is that you were able to determine that there is a crew aboard, an active crew of about a dozen personnel. And this is a large ship, so that wouldn't normally be enough people. So it's like a skeleton crew of people.
Right.
And that they are alerted to your presence. But there's no like active, like we're at war. So there's no like alarms of that kind alerted. But they do know that you've gotten to an airlock and are ready to board their ship.
Yeah, I'm giving a running commentary for the captain here. Hey, you see me kind of stare into space while I'm interrogating the sensors.
Okay.
And it's like a dozen, 15, somewhere in there. They're moving around in purposeful fashion, so they know we're here.
Okay.
And you could expect, if they're following military protocol, some kind of, there'd be at some checkpoint or some area there, you'd be met with somebody.
Yeah.
I think we should get on there because I feel that we have someone at our back, and the sooner we make contact, the better.
Yeah,
the faster we can talk to these people. See
Yeah.
who they are, what they're doing here, and if they know them.
And hopefully they don't open negotiations by shooting.
Yeah. And let me take point. I have this. I have armor, and I don't think their guns will pierce that. Total bullshit, but you know.
Well, you are a war hero. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that is what I am playing at. Like I'm kind of building myself up.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out pretty soon whether or not these are remnants of the original crew or not.
Well, they would not know my reputation. unless they are new here. If they're not, if they're the original crew, they might not know my reputation, but they would know my armor. So let's go in there, say hi in a friendly fashion, and keep our guns close.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to cut basically to the point of where their forces and you meet up.
Okay.
And I think what you see is an officer, like a lieutenant type, and two sort of like, I'll say like Marines, for lack of, like basically armed fighters as escort to this officer. And I feel like it's at a point in the ship design that has it's a small corridor, and there's two side access points, so it's kind of like this buffer area in the corridor, but there's not a lot of room to move side to side either, so it would be bad to get into a firefight in this space.
It's a pinch point.
Yeah. So the officer addresses you, and this is, as you said, this was a red giant, right? So they use the protocol of wartime.
Yeah, I know that protocol.
Yep. And they basically, name, rank, that sort of thing. And they basically give you the operating credentials of the current serving, captain of the ship. And I don't have a name generated. I'll come up with one, but they present that to you as who's in charge of their ship, and ask you in return, who are they dealing with? So,
Mercy swallows hard. You notice out of the corner of your eye.
I will ignore that, and I will smile at them, in a friendly fashion, but also like a little bit like, yep, you are a lieutenant, I am a captain. And I smile like that at him. I say, Lieutenant, pleased to meet you. My name is Captain Halo Solar. You've been out of the loop for a while, I think.
That's correct, Captain.
Good. Will you escort me and my companion here to your captain? We would like to have a word with you.
So let me ask Brandon, how obvious your normal human senses does your character seem to be not human?
The answer is that synthetics, I think that synthetics are made to look so that they can't quite pass. Okay, in other words, so they've got like facial markings or something like that would be very difficult, very difficult and complicated to remove. So I think she has some metallic scars, as the picture suggests, that are kind of, she has an identifying mark.
Sure.
Yeah, she has actually shaved the hair that might cover this identifying mark, because as a big, FU to the people back on board the Omega, care about that sort of thing.
So, given how you're playing your character right now, are you telling me, in the game standpoints, that you're suffering from some PTSD or something? Or
this was for quite a while a giant trap, right, that I couldn't get off of. And going back onto it voluntarily, even as much as I wanted to, out of a desperate need to know what happened, feels like I'm stepping back into the cage.
Okay. I feel like you're almost like self-compelling a condition on your character. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. All right. So there are some predefined guideline conditions in the drop down menu, do you feel that any of those are close enough to how your character's expressing this situation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
D6 afraid makes perfect sense.
So if that seems relevant in a roll, I would be rolling that D6 into my pool.
Yep.
Okay. And if anyone takes greater than a D12 in a condition or more than like a fifth condition, then they're taken out, which is a generic term for you somehow are not able to act. Could be you're unconscious, captured, whatnot. Okay. So I feel like the audience, if not captain who's with you, realizes that you're going through this challenge here. Okay. So I think given that you have an obvious visible indication that you're synthetic, I think the lieutenant operates from the function that you should not continue moving forward in the ship, that you should remain here.
I will take the position that the lieutenant should mind his own fucking business. I outrank him, and she will come wherever she wants.
All right. So instead of making a roll for this, I think what the audience sees is that the lieutenant is uncomfortable, like they would be taking a stress or a condition, and that the two guards are also sharing that sentiment, but they acquiesce to your rank. All right.
That I expect nothing less. That is actually not bullshit. That is, I mean, these operate under wartime military protocol. Yep. And if I mean, do we really want to mutiny right here, right now, over this? Come on.
So everyone is going, and one of these Marines is going to be behind the group as security, but also to keep an eye on the non-human. Yep. And I think that a slang term that comes to mind probably might be something along the lines of like drone.
Yep, drone is good.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to murmur to Captain Soder. I say, if you have to call me it, and say that I'm your personal property or something like that, you can do it.
Marcy, I think they will assume that actually.
I know that. I just let you know. And you can see Mercy really doesn't like to say this.
Yeah, I figured that. And he looks at her and says,
I'm not gonna contradict you if you do that. I'm just letting you know that.
You see that he wants to say something, but he has to kind of play the role here, right? So he'll give you a terse nod, like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see and respect what you're doing. And then
I cover it by, like holding up a data pad and pointing out something to the captain. He's like, this is, the readings that I got, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to, how I'm doing, because I don't recall there being a self-compel system in Cortex, but I like what we're doing here. And so I feel like you should get a plot point from doing that. So I'm going to change that from a 2 to a 3.
You have so many plot. Oh, do I get a plot point for the one I rolled before? Actually,
you have 2 plot points.
Yeah.
So I think I put that.
You put it in.
There.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. So I think what you learn as you're escorted through this fairly empty ship, it's running, with the skeleton crew, is I think what you learn through conversation is that most of the crew is in some sort of like I can't remember, like cryo or hibernation,
something like that.
Right. Yeah. Whatever is appropriate for technology here, either because of resources or because of the incident, which was a solar flare that crippled their ship. So they're trying to hide or mask that the ship is in worse condition, but that they've been slowly working on it over time to get it up and running. And that there was some sort of space distortion because of that solar flare too.
Mm.
So they're not sure what's going on, and they're trying to hide their lack of knowledge. You get the clear sense that they still think the war is going on.
Yeah, I figured that. Right now, that is beneficial to us
Mhm.
because, well, there are Star Alliance guys who want to poke around that ship, and if I kind of sort of fail to mention, I was only accompanying Mercy after all, that the war was over and they got hit by something. I mean, it's not my fault.
Right.
I can bullshit my way out of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
if they get hit by
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. So you get the sense that the ship is not in as good of a condition as maybe the sensors are picking up, and they're trying to assess things. So do you break the news to them that the war's over?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not to the lieutenant. I
Right.
might do to that with the captain once I've
Sure.
had a good feeling for what they are. I will. I will look at Mercy. Sorry, I will look at her and say, didn't you mention this one scientist, Cora Decalion something? Is she? And then look at the lieutenant. Is she here?
And you're saying this to the lieutenant?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's sort of a curt response, like not sure if he should say more to you. Like, here, yes. On the ship, yes.
Is she conscious?
She's in a sleeper chamber.
Oh, okay.
I sub-vocalize into your earpiece because why not?
Yeah.
Cool. I sub-vocalize into your earpiece. I just run down a listing of all the damage they're hiding. It's like, okay, okay, you know, they've got one working electronic junction out of 4 here. This ship came within you know, probably came within 15 minutes of blowing up.
Yep. I mean, I saw the flare. It really
I was on the ship when it was hit. I wasn't doing damage control then, so I didn't stop. I didn't stop to assess it. I just hit escape pod.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It really looked like the ship blew up. This is weird that they're still here. Something's off.
I mean, a flare wouldn't melt the hull, but it would kill the ship. It would fry all the electronics. It would, it would become a piece of space junk.
Yeah, that's why they let it float. Even though there are some people protesting that. But,
So I think they take you to similar officers' quarters, right? To the acting captain's quarters. And the captain there is Kyle Flynn. And I'm going to say that there's a flashback moment that you have when you see Kyle from being like a lieutenant from a dinner party. That
who is having a flashback?
You are.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. Sorry. From a dinner party that your wife held.
Oh.
And he was invited. He'd done some work with your wife, and there's a sort of recognition. And Kyle looks much older due to the stress of recent time, but is still biologically a young person, say in like their early 20s.
Wow.
And just looks kind of relieved to see a familiar face.
Wait, he's in his early 20s and this ship blew up 10 years ago. Okay, yeah, I thought that. There is a time distortion there. Yep, okay. I will sub-vocalize back to you, time distortion. Something's really wrong here.
and just addresses you. You know, you're wearing your pips or whatever, indicating you're a captain. You know, Captain Soto. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Actually, Captain Flynn, it's a pleasure to see you. And I would like to do a cold read on him because I have that talent, and why not use
let's
it,
do it.
right?
So what does the talent say?
The talent says activation. You are attempting to study someone you have just met, and the GM and or a PC rolls an opportunity. And SFX is the GM provides you with a useful detail about the character you are rolling against.
Okay, so I'm gonna put my dice pool together and make a roll, and if I get any ones, those are opportunities. You get a lot more information. So this person, I'm gonna roll 2d8 and a d6, and we'll see what we get. Okay, no ones, but I got a 3, 3, and a 7.
So that's 10.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'll build my dice pool. I have a d8. And no, I need to enter on here, right? Huh? What do you want me to do now? Dice tray.
Oh, just cancel it out.
Yeah,
and it should default back to zeros.
Okay. I do take the d8 for my background, and then I will take, I think I'll take, in this case, I'll take a soldier and not the politician, because I want, right now I'm well, right. And I think in this here, yeah, I think I will take power. My rank gives me authority. That seems like it's A, useful, B, appropriate, and beneficial. I don't know if my flashy armor impresses him at all.
Are you using it to impress him?
Sure.
Then yeah, go ahead and bring it into your pool.
I mean, my armor is in a lot better shape than these people's armors, and I won't say anything about it, but I'll stand in the way that it will catch the light and so it glints a little, right? And I'm rolling with 3d8 and 1d10. And there we go. And there is no 1. No, there is a 1 on the d8, but overall I've got a 13.
Okay. And what is, so your 13 is the result of what 2 die types?
A d8 and a d10.
Okay. And do you have any remaining dice?
Yep. I have a remaining die. That is a d8. Okay.
So your effect die is a d8. So 13 d8. Okay. All right. So in Cortex Prime, there's a module called Heroic. I call it Dramatic Success because you may not be acting heroically. Where if you do 5 over the target number, that adds a bonus effect. It's kind of like a mini critical.
Okay. I could spend a plot point.
If you want to, and you have the dice, do you have any dice that are not spent that are not ones?
I have the effect dice.
Yep. So it's usually a third 13? Die that's not a 1.
Yep, that would take me up to 13, would take me to 16, but I wouldn't have an effect die.
So you would default to an effect die of a d4.
Okay.
But you would have a dramatic success with a d4 effect die.
Is that better than a normal success with a d8 effect
die? it's kind of like, yeah, it kind of like balances out. So I don't know that it would be worth
balances
spending
it out. If it balances out, I won't spend the plot point because I'd rather keep the plot point, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I get a plot point for the one I rolled.
Okay. So your cold read, this person is sincerely glad you're here, considers you an ally or favorable, in this case, beneficial, and looks almost ready to say, here, you're captain now. Like they're just kind of waiting for you to just take captaincy of this ship and to go back to being a lieutenant and whatnot. They're you feel that over time with their sensors and whatnot, they will eventually figure out what the situation is with the war, but still they're not sure because their sensors are not operating at full capacity.
I think what I will do here is I will put my hand on his shoulder and say, "Well done, Lieutenant." There were some strange distortions going on. Let me tell you this, the war is ended. I will assume captaincy of the ship now.
And he catches himself and remembers the proper response to that from training, and then does the informal version of that, the transfer of power, and
Cool.
you have that, and he basically takes on the role of being a senior lieutenant at this point.
You have the con.
Yeah, you have the
Yeah.
con.
You have command. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I will tell him that Mercy should, or I will say, Mercy, would you run a full diagnostic of the ship, please, so that we know what we're dealing with here. You're the engineer.
All right.
And I think after you give that order to Mercy, like the crew is uncomfortable with having a drone free reign, right? They're holding to the authority. But I think this lieutenant, former captain, would say permission to speak freely or in private, sir.
Permission granted.
Says, do they know that you're not with your wife anymore?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay. Your ex-wife is in sleeper chamber and they gave you the number. And also, what is the status in regard to the opposition?
There is a peace, or there's not war, let's say. We are not an open conflict. We are on diplomatic terms. If they come here and I feel that might happen, let me take the lead on this.
So then
do not attack, but do not cooperate.
I think the lieutenant would have a data pad and would type, and show you a thing that maybe the audience doesn't see right away, but that you would see and would indicate that there are some experiments, as a euphemism, involving some biosynthetic prisoners of war. Now, I'm not going to go into detail. We can figure out what that is because of the torture veil and all that. But basically, there are prisoners of war from the opposition still aboard in various states.
Okay. That complicates the situation considerably. Okay. I will.
And the lieutenant's worried about having your engineer just kind of freely discovering these things.
Yes, that is a good catch, and I will go and discuss this with my engineer.
Very well, sir.
Yeah, and if he could, if somebody tries to dock, just try to stall them, and then we'll go over to Mercy and reveal this thing to her.
That's a good point. Did you say you had a 1 in that last roll?
Yep, I did.
Okay, so I'm going to buy that off you. You get a plot point.
Yep.
And I'm going to raise that countdown clock to a D12. So the next time that goes up, intervention is going to attempt to pull Brandon's character off this mission.
Oh no, nobody's pulling Brandon's character off.
Attempt is the salient word here.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I will go over to Mercy, show her the pad, and say we need to get out of this really quickly.
So yeah, you find Mercy. She's plugged into an engineering console, or if you're up on the tactical deck, she's plugged into the sort of the engineering interface. And she's kind of just resting both hands on the console and staring into space.
Yeah, I will.
which you may have seen before.
Yeah,
She is deep in the bowels of the system.
I will sub-vocalize because I feel that would get her attention quicker.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that'll come up on it'll come up on an internal readout
Exactly.
if
Exactly.
you
That's why I will do it, and also because I don't want these guys to. I don't want to have a deep discussion about the sentient rights of biosentience, right? Not right now. This is the wrong point in time. So I will say, Mercy, you need to take a look at this. And I apologize. It's probably not going to be pretty free.
Just a moment. Okay, wait. Project JX, that one?
That one.
Okay. Searching.
So,
and then you hear searching and then pause.
I feel like this would be a psychological attack on your character.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon? All right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna roll a pool, and I'm gonna include your stress, your D6 into it.
Can I help her out by being supportive, basically?
Yeah,
giving her the respect that.
Yeah, if Mercy feels that you're supporting, then definitely.
Yeah.
So what value or specialty do you think is appropriate to assist?
Justice, I think.
Justice? Okay. So that is a D6 that Mercy would be adding to their pool. So let me go ahead and build my pool here. And given that this is fairly traumatic news, I'm going to say that there's a D12 in this pool.
Ooh. Oh, wait, can I use politician to help? Because politician is not just bullshitting, right? Politician is helping create community.
Yeah. Well, if you're using it in a way to like manipulate, and I don't mean that necessarily as a negative, but as like it's a tool in your tool set.
Yeah, it's a tool, and I'm a politician, and I'm kind of representing the people, and you are one of the people.
Okay.
Right?
So yeah, then Brandon will get to roll a D10 into the pool.
If that's cool with you, if you think that Mercy would take that.
But if Mercy's like, I don't need politician right now, then they can reject your help.
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be kind of big. So we're going to have a D12, a D8, and 2D6 of confronting this. Let's see what we got.
Maybe the D12 rolls a 1 as well.
Okay, so I did roll a 1 on a D6, so you can buy that if you want to. And what you can do with that is you can reduce a complication in play if it's appropriate in the fiction. You can potentially, if you think it makes sense, reduce a condition, right? Or you can create a beneficial thing like an asset or increase a complication to your favor. So those are kind of the plays you can make with that if you choose to purchase it. And the player who's first affected by it has first say. If they don't have plot points or don't want to deal with it, it could go to other characters in the group, other players. My total result will be, looks like 12 and a 5. So that's going to be a 17 with a D8 effect die.
I probably am going to buy that, but hang on. Let me make my roll first. Okay. So I have a D10 from Captain Sutter. My background is D4 and give me a plot point.
Okay.
Because this is an extremely uncomfortable thing. I'm rolling love and esoterics. And does analysis count?
Yeah. And let me bring up, if you want, if you're questioning a belief, for that roll you get to triple the current die type.
And step it down.
And then you step it down at that time. So if you want to say I'm challenging glory, or I'm challenging or questioning power, you could potentially triple the die type that it's currently at. and then you'd step it down after that roll.
Yes, I don't think I'm doing that here.
Okay.
It's cool. All right, what crazy number am I beating?
So you need to beat a 17.
That is not.
That is very high.
That's not super likely to happen. All right. Hey, no ones. And I got a 17.
Not quite enough.
Oh, I have to beat it.
You have to beat it, yes.
I will spend a plot point and make it a 25. 22, 23, excuse me, 23.
23? Okay. Which,
so my third die was a 6. I got rolled a 9, 8, 6, a 3, and a 2. Terrific roll.
Yeah. So an 18 is the target number you need. Do you have a 23?
I do.
Okay. That would give you a dramatic success.
Okay. So let me spend the plot point.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get them out of there. So so I'm going to buy your opportunity.
All right.
And generate an order to release the experimental subjects in Project JX and have them escorted here.
Mm-hmm. So I think coordinating with the captain. Yeah. Unless the captain, are you supporting this order?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm certainly telling the captain I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's just a chance of
yeah.
reaching around me and yanking my jack out of the pipe.
No, I'm not yanking currently. I think we should absolutely get them out of this.
So
okay. Yeah, I'm crying.
Yep.
I'm sorry. And I say I'm sorry. I read those files.
And
I can read it like 10 times normal speed under duress.
Yeah, I thought so. Look. Mercy.
Yes.
Look at me, please.
I'm looking at you, even though I'm not.
We will.
My scanners can see you just fine.
We will make this right in some way or another. The Red Giant is not about. This was wartime. I apologize for what happened.
It's not your fault.
I'm a representative of the Red Giant. I take responsibility.
No, you can't. Do not do this. Do not take responsibility, because then I'm going to have to hate you. Please don't. You didn't do this. You didn't order this. You didn't condone it.
No, none of that. But I didn't stop it either.
No, you weren't.
Mercy.
Please allow me to believe that you would have if you could have.
Fine. Yes. Believe that.
I need to believe that.
Yes.
I don't want to despise you.
Mercy, I absolutely would have stopped it. And he sounds totally honest when he says that.
Right.
Okay. We need to keep it together. These people here, they don't know that they did wrong. I don't know how to tell them. Nobody will try. We'll try, but we have other problems coming our way.
Nobody thinks they did wrong. This is, just tools owned by the enemy. Yeah. Right? Of course, you try to see what makes them take.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. The ship's in bad shape, but it's still a functioning weapons platform.
What have you coming? What is incoming? Can you assess the sensors from outside the ship? Because I feel what the admiral is telling us, that we would be the first, but we wouldn't be the only ones. And we need to get your people out of here, and we need to get these people safe. We need to keep everyone safe.
Captain, what are you going to do with the Cylons? You have a giant, mostly functional weapons platform.
I'm going to disarm it. That's what I'm going to do. We have not war, and I would like for the things to continue that way. I like playing a part in making it a not war instead of an open war. I like to keep it that way.
Do you want to know eventually?
But right now, I think Cora's safe where she is. I think Cora's safe. She has to be. I don't want to know what role she played in these.
I'm not talking about that. I just meant her current condition.
She's frozen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So the alarms, I'm going to interrupt you. The alarms are going off of proximity alarms, which usually means you're getting close to something or something's getting close to you. And because the sensors are still not operating very well, it's very vague information. So here's what I'd like to propose is either of you, if you want to, like, just for the sake of having Sabine roll more, since she just rolled some, either directly we could have Mercy make this check, but I kind of feel like you're still in this emotional state. Maybe it makes more sense to have the captain here take charge of the crew and get a better sense of what might be happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll the dice here, and I'll give you the result. And this shouldn't be too complicated given where we're at now. Okay, so here we go. 2d8 and a d6. Okay, I rolled a 1 on a d8, so you can buy that if you wish. Basically, my total is an 8 with a d4 effect die.
Okay. So, and I'm rolling my war hero. Oh, wait, I need to end my turn, and then I need to clear the tray.
You're probably going to roll your soldier as your roll.
And I'm rolling my soldier, and I'm rolling power because I'm taking charge.
Sure.
I think I also have a highly regarded family name, actually.
How are you going to invoke that into this?
Well, I will turn to the lieutenant. So, Lieutenant, my ancestors have taken charge of situations that were way more dire than this. I have my great grandmother commanded the Robinsons retreat during the solar storm. So this was way worse than that. And I see a kindred spirit in you and your crew. So I think you can do this. Tell me what's coming, tell me where it's coming from, and tell me where it's going to dock, so we can go there and have a diplomatic welcome while my associate takes care of the other business.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm rolling that.
Are you buying
D6,
are
right?
you buying the opportunity?
Let me if I'm buying the opportunity, I get another D something.
No, you spend a plot point, and you can decrease a complication or increase one, or you can
create an asset.
Exactly. Like
I have a perfect idea for an asset, but let me roll my dice first.
Okay.
Let me see if I need my plot points for something else.
Awesome.
Okay, what does that mean? Oh, I got no 1, and I got an 11, and I got a 5 effect die. Now I will spend a plot
Your effect die would be the die type.
The die type, you are correct. That is do I have, let me check. Oh, I can add these two, and I would have a d8 as the effect die. Or can I choose one of these dice, the unused dice? I have 4 dice.
Okay,
I have 4 dice, and I have a d8 and a d6 for my roll, and I have a d10 left and a d8, and I can use the d10 for the effect dice, right?
Yes, if you want to. Yep.
Then I will do that.
Okay. So you succeed, right? With good effect, And are you going to buy the opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
So
going to buy.
yeah, normally you do decide if you're going to buy it or not ahead of time, but don't worry about it. So
Oh, okay, okay.
what's your
Sorry.
idea for the, no, it's okay. What's your idea for the asset?
Maybe the lieutenant is actually a relative.
Oh, yeah, like through a cousin or second cousin
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So so it sounds like you're creating a relationship
yeah,
with, okay, so it's a
yeah,
beneficial
yeah.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
D8.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something that involves your direct relationship, you can roll that into your pool. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
So here's what you get. Um, remember that scientific oddity, that creature or thing that may or may not be
Oh,
mineral or
yeah.
whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is coming right towards the ship
Oh,
because the ship, as we noted, it has some radiation leakage of some kind.
oh, that's
And
so
so the
cool.
creature is imminently going to impact the ship, and something will probably happen as a result of that. So the crew is wondering, should we attack this thing before it hits us or not? Because, they're soldiers and they're strung from being in this war that they're still trying to grapple that might be over, but they're still like, we're in a war, we're in a war.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. No, no, no. Evasive. It's evasive maneuver. Evasive maneuver.
Okay. So, before we jump to that, I want to give Mercy an opportunity to do something. Or if Brandon's like, no, I'm still recovering or thinking about it. If you've got an idea for something you want to do, Brandon, feel free.
I'm just reinforcing that. I'm saying that thing's a one of a kind, priceless scientific treasure. You can't kill it. And I'm just going to be helping out by helping to get their engines.
Cool.
Rerouting power to their engines so that
Okay. Yeah.
this thing can actually possibly move out of the way.
Okay. So you're going to use your engineer specialty?
Yes.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do, Sabine will have you make another roll. And I think this will kind of determine the conflict of avoidance or not with this creature in this ship. So I'll build my pool and we'll get that up here. And then you're going to get a d6 to add from Mercy. So, okay, let's see.
When would it add a d6 and when would it add a d10 for being an adept? In general, does it not
Oh, okay.
add in roll numbers?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So a d10 over to the captain. So this is going to be a 2d8 and a d10.
And what am I supposed to roll?
We'll get that to a moment. Let me roll
Okay.
the creature
Oh, okay.
feeding on the energy and getting close to your ship here.
Poor creature. This is not good energy, creature.
So
you get a hiccup.
I rolled an opportunity. So let's see, I have a total of 17 d4 because my third die was a 1.
Wow.
So if you were to technically roll an 18, you would beat me. But you really want to have a stronger effect die than that. So if you want to buy that d8 with spending a plot point, or if you want to say, no, I don't want to buy it, Brandon, do you want to buy it? We can do that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to buy it. Brandon, do you want to buy it?
To create an asset?
Create an asset or reduce a complication. If this creature, if Sabine's roll takes a complication, then that will be on the board. Currently, there's no creature-related complication at the moment.
Yeah, so that the other complication doesn't really make sense right now.
Do you want to reduce one of those, or do you want to create an asset at D8?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to try to scramble this thing's radiation signature a little bit.
All right.
I'm going to detune, one of the engines so that it emits, a weird radiation signature. And so, and we'll just call that confusing radiation signature or something.
Love it. So
that'll give another D8.
Yeah, give a D8 to Sabine for the next roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So
Cool.
this thing maybe tastes bad.
Okay. So I get a D10 for your adept and a D8 for the weird radiation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what else am I supposed to roll? Like me taking charge of the ship, commandeering, telling people what to do, or?
I think what makes sense to you of your background and power, if you think power is commanding the crew here.
Yeah.
And then
soldier, for sure.
Yeah, soldier makes sense, definitely. If you feel like I could see this narratively happening, if you feel like your commanding influence relates to the lieutenant who's a guiding force here, you could potentially build his relationship
absolutely. Absolutely, I will.
Yep,
because he knows the crew.
Yep, and then you have the adept from your companion.
Yep, and I have the weird radiation signature.
Exactly. So that's
I have a lot of dice. That's for sure. You will get a 1. I'm pretty sure. Yep, there's a 1, but I did roll a 17, and I will spend a plot point, right, to drag another die into this. Okay, let me see what I will drag into this. So 10 and 7. Okay, I will drag in this 5, so I've got a 22, which is not enough for a dramatic success. There is a 1, but my effect die is a D10.
Awesome. I think given the time that we're at for the session, I'm not gonna buy that hitch off of you. Okay. But tell me, what does this? You succeed? Tell me how you evade this creature trying to eat the radiation coming from the ship.
We are. I mean, and I've been on this station for a bit, right? And I know what Mercy has done, and I think I'm going to use the weird radiation coming from that, and I will tell people to put all the energy into that turbine or whatever that puts out that radiation, because I know that this creature it's kind of finicky sometimes. And I think that is actually, we will turn the ship so that the turbine points exactly at the creature, and that weird radiation, you can almost see it come out. And Brandon, what does it look like, that weird energy signature? How does that look visually?
I think it's what it looks like is that we actually have them blow the explosive bolts on one of the emitters, and so this glowing chunk of engine goes out there, and the creature kind of swallows it up.
And
it's like, I don't know whether it's full for the moment, or it just gives it pause or something like that, but it makes the creature stop.
I think what happens is that it gobbles up this thing, and we'll throw out other things at it. Like this is a big dreadnought, right? We can scuttle some stuff at it, and that will kind of work, because the first one was tasty. So we'll go kind of, it isn't very fast, kind of drift in the direction of the things that we pushed out, the other things.
Yeah, it's
might also
dumping fuel out the bank.
Yeah, so it's basically like a bit of a bluff, actually, because that is not thing it was after, really, but it's satisfied for now. It's playing around with one of our this destroyed shuttle. There is a hunk of a shuttle that was destroyed during the war, still was salvaged, and then it's flying around, and it's playing with it.
It's polonium-219.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely,
it's food, I guess.
Yeah. So
awesome. All right, so you've handled the situation. I think what we would see from the outside is that the creature's less active, right? It's kind of like diminishing in special effects glowingness, and we see some shuttles from the station heading over there. because they want a piece of the
Yeah.
action too. So we cut from there. I want to do like sort of like an epilogue with your
Mhm.
characters. So this could be individually or together with whomever to kind of close out the session, and then
Mhm.
do some stars and wishes potentially.
Mhm.
So what do we see, at some point after this with your characters?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we see Captain Soldier.
Hmm.
Just he is taking command of the ship and the situation. This is fraud enough, but he keeps staring at this data pad where the data of his ex-wife are on, and kind of takes it kind of like, no, not now. This is the wrong time. This is the wrong time. I'm not furniture anyway. So yeah,
Oh, so
yeah,
kind of like denying yourself from learning more.
yeah,
Which
kind of.
is
But you
like
can all,
kind of like your
yeah,
D4 esotericist, like, no, I don't want to know.
yeah, exactly. Right now I don't want to know. I've got enough reasons not to know. And but my other hand is kind of playing with this little ring that I have in my pocket. I'm not wearing it, but it's
Mhm.
still got it,
Nice.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about Mercy?
I like that because we have no idea what shape she's in, right? She's,
We haven't seen her yet.
she may have been near death when they put her on ice, probably. So Mercy um is sitting in a room, and she's um jacked in,
Mhm.
and there's kind of a big monitor there up behind her, um and it's showing images of the space station, things like that, and arrayed in a small group in front of her are a bunch of other synthetics,
Mhm.
and she is kind of trying to help them reacclimate to society. Some of them are in pretty terrible shape.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and they're like on various kinds of life support or medical apparatus. Um, and she's saying, you know, we uh, we have a carve out here. This is uh, uh, the war's over. You can't they can't treat you as property. Not here, not now. It doesn't mean they like us. Okay. But it does mean they have to put up with us as long as we follow the rules. Okay. Um, I've bought you all, White Sun medical contracts for now. Okay. But you're going to have to work as much, whatever you can, all of you, even if it doesn't matter what you're doing, you have to work. Everybody's got to pull as much of the load as they can. So we all make it. Any questions? And that's where the scene cuts.
Nice. Nice. All right. Any stars or wishes? Brennan, we'll start with you.
That was great. It felt very personal, very strong, both science fiction and also, kind of emotional, dramatic. And I really appreciate Sabine's character. Um, the situation is, such a powerful and one full of potential drama. And it feels, the parts, I mean, it's so hard to flesh out a science fiction world. The parts that we were working on felt like they had enough meat on their bones, that I didn't have to worry about the things we didn't know. So this is great. Um, uh, as far as sort of wishes, for for Gen Con goes. Obviously, character generation has to be quick, but I mean, we've talked about this before. But otherwise, I don't have any, I don't have anything particular to say. What do you think, Sabine?
I am. Yeah, I like the session. I like the the framework you put up that we got to fill. That was pretty good. I like that. Gave us some idea about what was going on. I also like those two characters who were very different. I also like that we might have a complicated relationship, but I felt that we were actually mostly moving in the same direction, right? And I like the, yeah, it took a moment for me to just be like, yeah, I was you in command of everything. I'm the ranking officer. Go, everybody do what I say, because I try to avoid being too dominating, because I can't be that. I can hold the action to myself, and that is not great. But since we're only two players, we both get to have a little bit of your attention, right? So that's fine, I hope. Anyway, wishes. Oh, I might like to see the wife, the ex-wife. Maybe.
Yep.
Possibly. Maybe not.
Are you sure you want to see the
as a player? Totally. As a character, oh well, maybe I have to polish my armor. Because I think she might be able to see through Halo's bullshit.
Yep.
And Halo thinks he's always bullshitting everyone. He has imposter syndrome, like, a lot.
Yeah, let me warm her up first.
That sounds weird. That sounds really weird.
And then let me talk to. Well, I mean, I did have a relationship with her, which was as dysfunctional as it was. It was positive.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I would. That seems like something that, yes, that Halo would totally be. Oh yeah, go warm her up. Totally.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Well.
I just view the that there's a cut scene in the next episode or whatever, where Captain Sutter says, I'm sorry that the things on board the ship, made you feel so sad or something like that. And Mercy says, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
because it's like, I'm not gonna, I cannot go there again. It's like that's the kind of that's.
Well, I think he's got a pretty good. He's really a decent person to know what other people need. That's the politician part in him. He knows what other people need to hear.
Yes, absolutely. So maybe it wouldn't happen that way, but it just if he did try to do that, Mercy would push him away hard, because she pushes people away. That's how she survives.
Yeah, no. He's a politician. He gets under your skin before you can push you.
Well, then, if you get under Mercy's skin, she'll get angry. Which is why we have a D4 relationship, right? I mean, it's because we're actually quite fond of each other. We just have
poor
communication skills with each other.
Difficulty. Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
Mercy's pretty messed up. I mean, she really is.
And Sora just thinks he's not really. He thinks he's really messed up too. So maybe he is. Who knows? Anyway. I need to get to bed, guys.
No, thank you both very much. I appreciate it. Do you mind if I post this?
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabine.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabine.
For playing. This was fun. Thank you for running, David.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Take care.
Okay. Bye. See you.
Bye-bye. Good night.